Kto переводчик сейчас на русском языке? Okay. How is the volume?
It is good. I can hear you normally.
Okay. So I'll turn off my speakers. There we go. Right, we're actually ready. Amazing. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Oh, where are the cartels? Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh, yeah, the message in Raghunath Bhatta Prabhu's room. Okay, the cartels on the second room. Get off in the second room. Jaldi.
Yeah, they took the cartels, and of course they didn't return them.
He was doing
Of
Kirtan in
course.
the tent. Yeah.
It is just, you're not allowed to return them. Yeah. So what verse are we on? 173.
173, I think. Yeah, I'll just double check. Yeah, 15173.
Today.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's got it.
No, this hasn't announced. This is yesterday. No, it's 2 weeks ago. Now we know what the day was. Because we had properly done we were last week.
All right, so we are actually ready. So this thing tangled on our feet. We are ready. We're just waiting for the. You can take this thing. Just waiting for the cartels. And just check the sound on there. How's the sound? Does it seem to be working?
No, it's not working.
Oh well,
gone soft again.
Go back in there, you know where it is.
It's 3 lines, audio.
Sound, audio.
Speak my God.
Haribol, Haribol, Haribol,
Stop.
Haribol. And you see where you choose?
Yeah.
So not the, it's the 3.5 millimeter, right?
Yep.
So if there's a way of choosing it.
Yeah, I'm changing over so I can see when you're speaking.
Okay.
Which is the best.
All right, here we go. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Gopi Jana Balava Girivara Gopi Jana Balava Girivara Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Anachara Raghunatira Raghunatira Jaya Radha Madhya Kunja Jaya Radha Madhya Kunja Kapitana Balava Giriparadhari Kapitana Balava Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Yamunatira Yamunatira Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharyas, tell us His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki, Grantaraj Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki, Shri Radha Radhanath Ki, Shri Giri Govardhan Ki, Sankirtan Yagya Ki, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki, Go Premanande, All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda
Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So devotees, this morning we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila chapter 15. The Lord accepts prasadam at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And we are going to start with verse 174, 173. And we are actually in the middle, you could say, of the story of Lord Chaitanya glorifying Vasudev Dutt. We started last Sunday that, well, the situation is that the devotees from Bengal have all come down to Jagannath Puri for some months, including the time of the Ratha Yatra, which is June usually. So they've come actually for a good number of weeks, even a few months. It's the rainy season officially. And many devotees have come down, got the association of Lord Chaitanya, took part in the Ratha Yatra with him, and now they're about to return home to Bengal. So Lord Chaitanya is meeting them just as they're about to leave and bidding them farewell. But some of them he has called aside or called out in front of the others, and he's glorifying them. First of all, he glorified Satyaraj Khan, Gunaraj Khan. They were from, Kulina, if I remember correctly, Kulina. Then he glorified Raghava Pandit, how he was so careful about what he offered to the Lord. And he would get coconuts from miles away, coconuts of first class, even though he was growing coconuts. He had many coconuts, but they weren't quite as good as those ones from further away. And anyway, it's a whole story there. And then he went on. He glorified Murari Gupta. How steadfast Murari Gupta was in his dedication to Lord Ram. And then following Murari Gupta, yes, in verse 153, Lord Chaitanya started glorifying Vasudev Dutt. And particularly, so we're in the middle of that right now, and particularly he's pointing out how Vasudev Dutt was willing to accept all the karmic reactions of all the living entities in the entire universe. He was willing to accept all their sinful reactions on his head, so he would suffer all those reactions. So those people, not just people, but all those living entities in the entire universe would be liberated. And Lord Chaitanya is right now appreciating, well, actually, Vasudeva, yeah, let's just check here. Lord Chaitanya now, yes, Lord Chaitanya is now appreciating the character of Vasudev Dutt. What an incredibly merciful person Vasudev Dutt is. It's just completely astonishing. Because of your honest desire, all living entities within the universe will be delivered. For Krishna does not have to do anything to deliver all the living entities of the universe. So, we'll start from verse 172, because now Lord Chaitanya starts bringing in the example of the Udumbara tree. Anyway, what is that? We will read and we will find out. Eka Udumbara vrikshe lage koti pale koti ye brahmanda base virajara jale. Just as there are millions of fruits on the Udumbara tree, millions of universes float on the waters of the river Viraja. and Srila Prabhupada actually gives a short purport here. Viraja is a river that divides the material world from the spiritual world. On our side of the river Viraja is the effulgence of Brahmaloka and innumerable Vaikuntha planets. And on the other side is this material world. Yes, so on one side is the Brahmaloka and the Vaikuntha planets. On the other is the material world. We are on the other side, the side of the material world. It is to be understood that this side of the river Viraja is filled with material planets floating in the causal ocean. The name Viraja indicates a marginal position between the spiritual and material worlds. But the Viraja river is not under the control of the material energy. Consequently, it is devoid of the three gunas. Verse 173. Tara Eka. Tara Eka. Just a second. What was it, heat?
I don't know. Yep, it is very hot.
Oh, let's turn on the AC. Yeah. Excuse me. So verse 173. 3. Tara eka palapadi yadi nashtahaya
It's too
tatapi vriksha nahi jane nija apa chaya. Translation: the Udumbara tree is filled with millions of fruits, and if one falls down and is destroyed, the tree does not even consider the loss. Yeah, so this Udumbara tree, I assume it's still present there in India, but I'm not familiar with it personally. Is the battery out?
No, we're just trying it. It is not going back on.
Yes, so the Udumbara tree is a tree which, as Lord Chaitanya says here, it is filled with millions of fruits. And Lord Chaitanya says, if one falls down and is destroyed, the tree does not even consider the loss. So, Maharaj, are you familiar with it?
I never heard it.
You never heard? Yeah, me too.
Dharana plant is there, but the fruits I never seen.
Oh, okay. Udumbara.
No, I never heard it.
Okay. Anyway, some tree from Southeast Asia, from India, it really has lots and lots of fruits. And if one fruit falls off, the tree doesn't even notice it. Okay, let's carry on. Taiche eka brahmanda yadi. Taiche eka brahmanda yadi muktahaya. Tabu alpa hani krishnaya. Mane nahi laya. Yes. In the same way, if one universe is vacated due to the living entities having been liberated, that is a very little thing for Krishna. He does not take it very seriously. Ananta Aishvarya Krishna Vaikuntadi Dhamma Taragada Kai Karanabdi Yaranama. The entire spiritual world constitutes the unlimited opulence of Krishna, and there are innumerable Vaikuntha planets there. The causal ocean is considered the surrounding waters of Vaikuntha Loka. Tate base maya lana ananta brahmanda gada kaite base yena rai purna banda. Maya and her unlimited material universes are situated in that causal ocean. Indeed, Maya appears to be floating like a pot filled with mustard seeds. Just see the description given by Lord Chaitanya. Quite amazing. Of the millions of mustard seeds floating in that pot, if one seed is lost, the loss is not at all significant. Similarly, if one universe is lost, it is not significant to Lord Krishna. Amazing. Sabha Brahmanda Sahayadi Mayara Hayakshaya Tatapi na Mane Krishna Kichu Apachaya. To say nothing of one universal mustard seed, even if all the universes and the material energy, Maya, are destroyed, Krishna does not even consider the loss. Koti Kamadenu Patir Chagi Yaiche Mare Sad Aishvarya Pati Krishner Haya Kiba Kare. If a person possessing millions of wish-fulfilling cows loses one she-goat, he does not consider the loss. Krishna owns all 6 opulences in full. If the entire material energy is destroyed, what does he lose? And here Srila Prabhupada gives a purport. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in clarifying verses 171 to 179, states that the meaning of these stanzas is very simple, but that the purport is a little difficult to understand. Generally, the conditioned souls forget Krishna when they're enticed by the material external energy. Consequently, they're called Krishna Bahya Mukha, bereft of their relationship with Krishna. When such a living entity comes under the jurisdiction of the material energy, he is sent into one of the innumerable material universes created by the material energy to give a chance to the conditioned souls to fulfill their desires in the material world. Being very eager to enjoy the fruits of their activities, conditioned souls become involved in the actions and reactions of material life. Consequently, they enjoy and suffer the results of karma. However, if a conditioned soul becomes Krishna conscious, the karma of his pious and impious activities is completely destroyed. Simply by becoming a devotee, one is freed from all the reactions of karma. Similarly, simply by the desire of a devotee, a conditioned soul can attain liberation and transcend the results of karma. Since everyone can be liberated in this way, one may conclude that it is according to the sweet will of the devotee whether the material world exists or does not exist. Ultimately, however, it is not the sweet will of the devotee, but the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who, if he so desires, can completely annihilate the material creation. There is no loss on his part. The owner of millions of cows does not consider the loss of one she-goat. Similarly, Lord Krishna is the proprietor of both the material and spiritual universes. The material world constitutes only 1/4 of his creative energy. If, according to the desire of the devotee, the Lord completely destroys the creation, he is so opulent that he will not mind the loss. So there you go, devotees. All the people, what to speak of within this universe, how about just on this one planet? Some people are accumulating so much money. by the average person's standards, far more, just so much more than a person could spend on themselves or their family in a whole lifetime, even if they provided very great opulence for a number of people. So they're doing like this on this planet. But the Lord is the proprietor of the entire universe. This here where we are, it's just a middle planet. There are higher planets. There are much higher planets where the standard of opulence is far, far beyond on this planet. And there's so many. And then there's the subterranean heavenly planets described in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. They are in the lower part of the universe, but they're extremely opulent. So the opulence we are familiar with, it's barely a drop in a bucket. But still, even though within this universe, at least by our standards, there's a very high degree of opulence, compared to the opulence of the Lord, it's so insignificant that if he were somehow or other to destroy this universe, whole thing finished, because there's so much opulence in all the other, many other universes, millions, billions, you wouldn't even notice the loss of the opulence of this one universe. It is just, well, by our standards, it really is inconceivable. Jaya 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 Ajam Ajita Dosha Grabita Gunam Twamasi Yad Atmana Sama Vruda Samasta Bhaga Aga Jagad Okasam Akila Shakt Yava Bodakate Kwachid Ajayat Mana Cha Charato Nucharen Nigama, a different meter. Difficult translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, O my Lord, O uncomparable one, O Master of all potencies, please exhibit your internal potency to conquer the nescience of all moving and inert living entities. Due to nescience, they accept all kinds of faulty things, thus provoking a fearful situation. O Lord, please show your glories. You can do this very easily, for your internal potency is beyond the external potency, and you are the reservoir of all opulence. You're also the demonstrator of the material potency, and you are the reservoir of all opulence. You're also the demonstrator of the material potency. You're also the demonstrator of the material potency. You're also always engaged in your pastimes in the spiritual world, where you exhibit your reserved internal potency, and sometimes you exhibit the external potency by glancing over it. Thus you manifest your pastimes. The Vedas confirm your two potencies and accept both types of pastimes due to them. So, yes, another purport by Srila Prabhupada. This verse is taken from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:87-14. It is from the prayers of the Shruti Gana, the personified Vedas who glorify the Lord. The almighty personality of Godhead has three potencies: internal, marginal, and external. The conditioned souls who are condemned due to their forgetfulness of the Lord are put under the control of the external potency when she creates the material world. The three modes of material nature keep the living entity in a constant state of fear. Bhayam dvitiya binaveshata. The conditioned soul is always fearful due to being controlled by the external potency. Therefore, the conditioned soul should always pray to the Almighty Lord to conquer the external potency Maya, so that she'll no longer manifest her powers, which bind all living entities moving and inert. By praying in this way, one will become eligible to remain constantly in the association of the Lord, thus fulfilling the mission of going back home, back to Godhead. Well, yes. Here we particularly note that we, the conditioned souls, us, being placed in these difficult situations which we're facing regularly in this world, we are therefore fearful. Srila Prabhupada quotes, it's a Srimad Bhagavatam verse, I forget the verse number, but it's nice, very nice verse, in which this line appears, Bhayam dvitiya biniveshata syat. Which means that the conditioned souls within this material world, they are in a state of fear, bhayam, because dvitiya binaveshata syat, because they are not taking shelter of the Lord, rather they are taking shelter of dvitiya. Dvitiya means a second person. They're not taking shelter of the Lord, they're taking shelter of another person, a second person, which means whatever. I mean, whoever. They're taking shelter of the government or some entertainer or some philosopher or intellectual. They're taking shelter of someone or ones other than the Lord. But the problem is, those people that they're taking shelter of are not able to give the protection that the conditioned soul needs. Sometimes it may be sort of things may go on all right or even relatively nicely, sometimes, but many times, the material energy attacks, and the conditioned soul is just overcome, unable to protect themselves or their dependents, just really overcome, and therefore thrown into an ocean of suffering and misery, which is just, it can be just intolerable, absolutely terrible within this material world. That's the danger. Bhayam dvitiya binaveshata syat. So therefore, as is being explained here, Lord Chaitanya is quoting the prayers of the personified Vedas from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that therefore we need to take shelter of the Lord by, particularly Prabhupada emphasizes here, we should always pray to the Almighty Lord to conquer the external potency so that she won't manifest her potencies on us, so we can be protected. And we can therefore enter into what Srila Prabhupada referred to as a Vaikuntha bubble, even though we're here within this material world. And dealing with the people, and we're physically in the same environment that they're in, wherein they're suffering, but because we're in that Vaikuntha bubble, we are not suffering. We're in Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means free from anxiety. Yes. So that's Krishna consciousness. We should pray to the Lord, but not just pray to the Lord only, although we should fervently and regularly, if not even always, pray to the Lord for protection and mercy. But we should always keep engaged in his devotional service. If we keep positively engaged, doing our best according to our humble capabilities to please him through serving him and serving his devotees, particularly Srila Prabhupada, then there's the best chance that he'll give us very nice protection and mercy. So, yes, now next verse 181. E mata sarva bhaktira kahi sabaguna sabare vidaya dila kari alingana. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described the good qualities of his devotees one after the other. He then embraced them and bade them farewell. Yes. So let's read. Okay. Let us read just one more verse. Prabhura vichede bhakta karena rodana bhaktira vichede prabhur vishana haila mana. Due to the impending separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees began to cry. The Lord was also morose due to separation from the devotees. So yes, this is life in Krishna consciousness. Meeting and separation, meeting and separation, meeting and separation. In the pastimes of the Lord, these things are always happening. Krishna's going out to herd the cows every day. Overnight, while he's at home with his parents, the cows are in separation. Now he goes out with them in the morning, and he leaves his parents and the parental devotees, and they're in separation. And then the cowherd boys go with him. They were in separation at night. Now they're with him. And then he goes out, and after a little while, an hour or a couple of hours or whatever, he leaves the cows and cowherd boys. Now they're in separation. He goes to join the gopis, who were in separation since he left, shall we say, Nandagram. So now he's with the gopis, cowherd boys, cows are in separation. Of course, the parental devotees continue to be in separation. Then he comes back and joins the cows and the cowherd boys. The separation for them is over, but the gopis are in separation. You get the idea. Meeting and separation. There's a lot of meeting and separation in the pastimes of the Lord in Vrindavan. and of Lord Chaitanya, in different ways. The devotees from Bengal have been with Lord Chaitanya. Now they're going back to Bengal. They'll be in separation from him. He'll be feeling separation from them. After a while, he'll come back. They'll come back, and things are going on like that. So the meetings are very sweet, and the separations, they enhance due to the remembrance and the absorption that when will the time come again when I will be with my beloved Lord again. So in that way, the separation increases the ecstasy, the depth of the feelings. So when they meet again, the feelings in meeting are higher, greater, more ecstatic than the previous time they met. And in this way it goes on and on, increasing and increasing in intensity through meeting and separation. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It said it was the heat, did it?
Yeah, but I don't know. When I changed the battery, well, so maybe.
But there was a sign. It's too hot.
No, I didn't check because it's lifted up.
Okay. Anyway, sometimes stuff happens. Okay, devotees, Hare Krishna. See you later.